Good morning. My name is Susan Nyland with the TBI. We're going to, I'm here with Chief Charles Ziegler, Sheriff Joe Guy, and we have Pat Joyce, who is the Area Operations Manager for Thomas Betts. We're each going to be having a statement. Mr. Joyce will have a statement. He will not be responding to questions, but we will open it up to questions as we are able to afterward. Please keep in mind this is still an ongoing active investigation, so we may be limited on some of our answers that we're going to be able to provide. First, I want to extend deep condolences to the families of the victims of yesterday's shooting. This is a very close-knit community. It's a very close-knit company. I kept hearing the word family yesterday, and this is clearly something that's going to be affecting everybody for an incredibly long amount of time, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody, with the plant and with the family and with the City of Athens. On Thursday, at the request of 10th District Attorney General Steve Crump, TBI special agents joined officers with the Athens Police Department along with the McMinn County Sheriff's Department and the District Attorney's Office in investigating the circumstances that led to the shooting on Thursday afternoon at the Thomas Betts plant. The preliminary investigation indicates that Ricky Swafford, who was a longtime employee of the plant, became upset during a meeting with two of his supervisors. Swafford, who is 45, abruptly left the meeting and the building. He went out into the parking lot and returned a short time afterward. He went into the office and found his two supervisors, who were James Zotter, 44, and Sandra Cooley, 68. Swafford shot both of them and continued to walk through the plant. Some employees were able to warn others about an active shooting circumstance, and employees were able to evacuate. Others were able to lock themselves within rooms within the building. When responding officers arrived to the scene, they did find Swafford's body in a bathroom in the plant. He was deceased from an apparent gunshot wound, self-inflicted. No other employees were injured in the shooting incident. We do have TBI special agents who are continuing to gather information, do interviews, and collect evidence. We did have the violent crimes response team with forensic scientists who were at the scene all night. I'm told that they just recently left, and they have been processing the scene. We'll take that information back to process at the lab. This does continue to be an active and ongoing investigation, as I indicated, and we have learned also that the bodies have been taken to Knoxville for autopsies. Since this does remain an active and ongoing investigation, we'll be limited on what we're able to address afterward, as I indicated, but we'll try to answer whatever we can. Once our investigation, the TBI investigation, is complete, we will turn the case file over to the District Attorney's Office for that office's review. Chief?
Thank you very much. Just wanted to make a few comments. The word community has been mentioned and will be continued to be mentioned. We want to say that our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the victims, to the employees, and also to the community. The outpouring of help and assistance yesterday was tremendous. We have tried to provide a list of almost everyone that we could identify this morning that provided not only backup and service, but food and beverages for the responding officers and different groups. And there are untold numbers of individuals who we do not even know that brought items to the scene for the emergency services. I think that shows the outpouring of the community's intent. And again, the community is following today with some vigils, and I think that will continue. So the close-knit community in the small town of Athens is mourning with Thomas Betts, and we hope to be able to get through that. And we'll be working very hard to try to provide assistance and service not only to the employees but also to emergency services workers because of this horrendous event. So with that, I would like to turn it back over to Sheriff Guy. Sir.
Again, thank you for being here. The Sheriff's Department will continue to act in a supporting role for the Athens Police Department in this investigation. Just from my standpoint, and the Chief and I discussed this yesterday, the cooperation between all the responding agencies was just phenomenal. I have a lot to say about that as far as the Highway Patrol, of course the Athens Police Department, and their very quick response to the situation. My department, the District Attorney's Office, AMR, EMS, the Athens Fire Department. I'm probably leaving someone out. Our Emergency Operations Director was there as well. All of those folks came together and were able to work through this very tragic and stressful situation with nothing but professionalism. And that's what goes on in McMinn County, and I'm proud to be able to say that. And again, to echo what the chief said, the outpouring from the community has just been very touching. There are several prayer vigils and that type of thing going on today, and if someone wants to do something to assist in this, then we would recommend that you go and attend one of those. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sheriff. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pat Joyce, and I am the Area Operations Manager for Thomas Betts ABB. And part of my responsibility is oversight within multiple facilities and with the Athens facility. I have been with the company for 23 years. I'm heartbroken today. We as a company are heartbroken. Yesterday, we lost colleagues in a senseless act of violence. We have absolutely no understanding of what motivated the perpetrator. But you have our promise that we are cooperating with the law enforcement in every possible way. We want to offer our thanks, heartfelt thanks. There really are no words, to the police, the first responders, and our employees for their incredible response in these hours. We employ hard-working, talented, incredible, gifted people. We mourn as a community and as a community of co-workers. And most importantly, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims, with the families, loved ones, and friends of those we lost. Our facility will remain closed until such time we are ready to resume operations. And every employee will be paid during this time of grief. Because there is an ongoing police investigation, please understand that we must defer all questions to our law enforcement. Again, on behalf of everyone at ABB, we ask for your understanding and for your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll field whatever questions we're able to at this time, if you have any.
Can you tell us how long it was after the shooter was upset and left the meeting until he came back?
It was a relatively short period of time. I can't give you exact how many minutes.
So we heard that he possibly went to his car. We know in Tennessee that you can carry a concealed weapon and leave it in your vehicle, even on company property. Do we know that if the company, do they have policies against this? And do we know if he had a concealed weapons permit?
He did have a concealed weapons permit. I can't speak to whether he got the gun out of the car. That's part of our ongoing investigation.
We've been getting phone calls from individuals, either former workers or current workers, last night suggesting that this man had been under some kind of pressure from a supervisor, which may have led him to do what he allegedly did. Has there been anything to indicate that to be true?
There are no appearances at this point that this was anything that was planned. Now, he did have a meeting with his supervisors, and it was during that meeting that he apparently experienced some agitation enough to leave. But outside of that, I can't speak to anything else at this point in the investigation about anything prior.
Do we know if that meeting had anything to do with the termination or disciplinary reasons?
I don't have that information at this point.
Can you give us a timeline of when he walked in the building and when the two victims were shot?
I can't give you anything specific other than he came in and appears to have gone directly to the office where the two supervisors were and went directly to their location, and that's when he commenced shooting them.
Did he fire any other shots after?
It does not appear that there were other shots fired.
So the meeting was with the two supervisors?
That's right.
Did he have a history with these supervisors in the past?
I can't tell you about that.
Was there anyone else in the meeting with the supervisors and the shooter?
I believe at this point it was just the three.
Can you tell us anything more about his attempted shooting in the lobby on the way in? Who might have been there? What happened?
I'm not familiar with an attempted shooting in the lobby on his way in.
Has the TBI had a chance to take a look at the surveillance video inside?
We have been collecting any kind of video that's available.
Are you guys aware of a criminal history with him?
It doesn't appear that he has a criminal history. We can run that for you if you'd like.
Do we know if he had any mental diagnosis of any issues?
I don't have any information about that.
Do we know the capacity of the roles of the victims? Were they in HR, or you can only confirm they were supervisors?
Right. At this point, I can just confirm that they were his supervisors. As far as the roles that they each played, I can't give you any specifics on that at this point.
What was Wofford's job? How long did he been with the company?
Do you have that information? Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have that. I know he was, I understand he was there sometime around 15, 18, 20 years.
From talking to some of the witnesses, did they happen to mention if he said anything while this was going on? Did he make any statements while this was going on, or was it just a silent action?
Some of that information is part of our investigation. We're still interviewing witnesses, so that's something we can't really detail at this point.
Tell us a little bit about your process. How will you determine what may have motivated?
Well, again, I don't want to speak too specifically to this case since it is active and ongoing, but anytime that we do engage in an investigation, we will talk to anybody who might have been a witness, either to the actual act or anything prior to or afterward. We will collect any kind of evidence that we have at the scene or in other locations. It takes some time to compile, which is why we're not able to give you a lot of the specifics at this point. It's something that will be included in our case file when we turn it over to the district attorney's office.
Any idea how many witnesses you guys are talking to or have talked to?
I can't tell you that. There were a lot of people who saw things, some people heard things. So it's a matter of getting all these folks together and getting their statements. So that, again, is going to take some period of time. We tried to get as many people on the site as we could yesterday while they were still there and while the memory was still fresh. So, but it's something that will be extended for some time.
Now, have you searched his property? Tell us about that.
I can't talk about specifics of that investigation at this stage.
Can you confirm? No, I just wanted to get a confirmation. So he went back into the office so that's where the shooting took place, inside that office from which he had left?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Did he leave any messages, written or was electronic media?
That's not anything I can answer at this stage. I appreciate you coming out. We are going to be sending out the statement that we've given here, so it'll be in electronic form. As we are able to provide any updates, we will. It will most likely be in some sort of email form. So I think most of you have our contact information if you have any specific questions to ask afterward.
And you did say that the facility is still an active crime scene?
Actually, I think as of probably within the last hour, they were able to get everything they need, and our violent crimes task force, violent crimes response team, has left.
Sheriff, you mentioned the way we can help are these vigils. Can you tell us about where these are happening and who's organizing them and so people can come out?
I think the best advice there is just to maybe follow social media. I think there's going to be one around the high school maybe this morning. And I just heard one as I was leaving the Justice Center about noon at the courthouse. that some local churches have organized. Those are the only two that I know of, but if they'll probably pop up over the next day or a couple of days.
And can you just tell us a little bit about, I mean, we've been hearing from people all over town about this is a close-knit community, just about the impact this is having on people. I mean, you live here.
Yeah, and the chief and I were discussing this yesterday. We are a very close-knit community. Folks know each other. That makes this difficult for the responding officers that were there yesterday. It makes it difficult for folks who know each other on both sides of this issue. But we'll work through it, as we always do. It's a very resilient community. And I think that was shown yesterday with the cooperation between the responding agencies and all of the community support that came about and continues to come about just to deal with this tragic incident.
And can you speak to just the work of the officers getting there, you know, the first responders?
By the time I got there, the situation, of course, was already taken care of and contained. But overall, I probably can't say enough good about the cooperation and the spirit of cooperation that occurs here in McMinn County between all the agencies. We train together, we work together, communicate very well together, and overall, we'll have some after-action reviews, I'm sure, of this situation, and we'll look at ways to certainly improve or work on things. But overall, the chief and I were discussing this yesterday. It was a very good response. Thank you.
Mr. Joyce, could you speak on the company's policy, if you guys have one, on carrying weapons on company property?
We have a company policy.
Could I be seen? Thank you.
I would like to defer, as this is an ongoing investigation, to say that any comments relating to our policies and procedures will be part of that police investigation as we do that, and I would defer those questions to be routed through that avenue as we proceed to go.
How many people work at the plant?
There's approximately 330 to 350.
And I've heard electrical components, steel fabrication, what exactly is done there?
We make electrical components that are used in the electrical industry.
Thanks, folks.